There's a reason that women stay in unhappy marriages because it is so hard to leave and get on your own 2 feet. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years and I've been working for 3 months trying to save what I can to be able to get out. It feels impossible. Still having to provide and save at the same time. Like, how do you guys do it? And apartments, why are they so expensive? Who can afford this? My first apartment at 18 was $600 for a 1-bedroom. The cheapest 2-bedroom I found for my kids to have to share a room is $800. Everything else is like $1,000 or more. Like, how am I ever supposed to get on my feet? This isn't a pity party video. I just know other moms can relate because it's hard as fuck to get on your own 2 feet.
Let's talk about why I stayed in an unhappy marriage. And we'll make it a combination of why I stayed and like what actually drew me to my husband. Because, you know, I've made a lot of videos talking here and there about how problematic and unhappy my marriage was. But I did stay with him all in a decade and a half, and a lot of people will say it was for the money, and it actually wasn't. There's legal avenues there. I stayed because I didn't want to give up on him, and I didn't want to give up on the marriage, even though I was giving up so much of myself. Somehow I could, regardless of what he had done to me, still see a very sad human there, and I didn't want to be another person that walked away from him, even though eventually I had to, because if I did not walk away, he would have destroyed me. What drew me to him, number one, he was scrappy as fuck. He, like me, did not grow up with much and had to work really hard to earn everything that he had earned. And he was very successful in his business, and he did it all on his own. And that was something that I admired, that tenacity, that really agile mind, and this desire he had to just consume the world. He wasn't scared of making himself sound like an ass. Many times he did, but many times he could also laugh at himself. And in addition to that, when times were calm, you know, because you're in a trauma bond, right? And when we were in that calmer, happier time of the trauma bond, we laughed a lot. So let me now turn it over to you. If you are divorced, what's a good thing you can say about your...
You have Stockholm Syndrome. Like, a lot of people don't realize that Stockholm Syndrome is not just something you can whiff away. People are like, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you press charges? Why didn't you do this or that? You are chemically bonded, chemically binded to this person, and the way that they've been manipulating you, the way that they have been changing the way that you think, the way that you look.
The way that they beat you down to feel like you are nothing to nobody and never will be unless they're the ones loving you, because no one else will love you.
Well, and they cut you off from everybody else, right? They take away your friends.
Isolate you.
They take away your family. They control every aspect, your social media, your job, until you are literally a fucking shell of a person. You're a puppet. They've got their hand up your ass and you're a fucking puppet. And you don't even realize that you're living in such a constant state of fear, and
There are way too many women out there right now struggling in their relationships with men simply because they won't admit two very simple truths to themselves. These are truths that men will not admit to themselves or to you, ladies. So let's talk about it. And the first truth is that communication is not that hard. It's not that hard for him to do. He just doesn't want to do it. He doesn't consider it important enough. Whatever it is you're asking him to do and he's not doing it, it's not because it's hard for him. It's not because anything is actually in his way. It is because he doesn't want to do it. And he can see how it's impacting your relationship. He can see how it's impacting you. He just doesn't care. He assumes that if it's bad enough, you will leave him. And that's because most men don't actually believe in unconditional love, especially with women. They believe in that with their homeboys, who they will forgive on the behalf of those homeboys, rape victims, assault victims, victims of their stalking, harassment, domestic abuse. They believe in unconditional love, just not for you. Again, with his guy friends doing their fantasy draft, like there's a lot of communication involved. There's a lot of, mapping out and logistics and schedules and all of those kinds of things are involved, and they get through it just fine. He communicates at work just fine. He answers his emails, but he won't answer your texts. He answers phone calls at work, but
Hello, friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. Kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. So, in today's video, we'll be talking about a topic that affects so many women around the world. Why are women staying in happy marriages? This is the subject I know a lot of us have either experienced personally or still play out in their lives, people close to us. It's not simple just walking away. It's today is going to let's break it down because there are just a lot of reasons. So first and foremost, let's talk about financial dependency. In many marriages, especially those where men is the primary breadwinner, women can feel financially trapped. They may not have the resources or financial stability to walk away, especially if they've been out of the workforce for a while. For a lot of women, living an happy marriage means starting from scratch, finding a job, securing housing, and potentially providing for children on their own. That's a huge weight to carry, and it's one of the many reasons some women stay when they thought of not being able to survive financially is more terrifying than the emotional pain. It's easy to see why many stay in their marriage. Another major reason women stay in unhappy marriage is kids. Many women feel like leaving could a negative impact on their children, that staying together, even if the relationship is toxic, is better for the family. They worry about disrupting their children's lives, fear that the divorce would damage their sense of security or drain their possibility of bitter custody or battle. Some women think it's better to their children to grow with both parents in the same home, even if that is not the happiest, and that emotional tug of war between wanting what's the best for the children and wanting to escape the marriage can keep them stuck for years. Society can also play a huge role. We live in a world that still holds on certain expectations for women it comes to marriage. A lot of women face pressures from their family, friends, or culture background to stay married, even if when they're unhappy. This is a stigma attached to divorce in many cultures where women are made to feel like they're failed if the marriage ends. This shame can be overwhelming. Some women worry about how they'll be perceived, that they be judged for leaving. Others fear the label of divorced a woman will stick with them forever, making it harder to find some love again of their life. Let's also talk about emotional investment. Many women have invested years, if not decades, in their marriages. They built a life, shared memories, and devoted themselves to their partner. Walking away can feel like, oh, that was for nothing. Plus, there is often this lingering hope that things will change, that their partner will go back to being their person they once fell in love with. Even if the marriage has been bad for years, hope can be a powerful force, and it can keep women waiting for a shift that may not come. It's a classic cycle: things get a little better, then they go right back to how they were, but the hope keeps pulling them back in. Another factor is the fear of unknown. Leaving a marriage means stepping into uncertainty, and that's terrifying for anyone. It means starting over emotionally, mentally, in many cases, physically. The fear of being alone, of not knowing what comes next, of not being able to cope with the changes. Those fear can paralyze someone into staying, even if the marriage is miserable. It's non-mystery. It's similar, sometimes feels safer than unknown challenges that comes with living. And lastly, believe it or not, love and loyalty can keep still women and happy marriage. A lot of women still care deeply for their spouse even if the marriage is not working. They built a life together and feel a sense of duty or responsibility toward their partner. Some women believe in sticking it out no matter how hard things get, and that's their loyalty will eventually pay off. Even if when love feels one sided or the marriage is cleared, the emotion ties are to break. So, as you can see, there's no single reason why we may stay in happy marriages. It's a combination of factors from financial limitation to deep emotional connection. The important thing is to remember is that everyone's situation is unique. If you or someone you know is unhappy, marriage is crucial to seek support, whether from friends, family, or professional therapists. No one should feel trapped in a situation where they are not filled or happy. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends, okay? Yeah, so are you in unhappy marriage, or have you ever been in happy marriages? How did you handle the situation? How did you come out from it? Or maybe you're in happy marriages and you're planning to come out. How are you coping up? Yeah, so we want to hear, ladies. I want to hear from you what you think about today's video. I don't know what you think, but kindly leave your comments about this topic, because this is a very important topic. A lot of women are going through this. Almost 70% of women are living in their happy marriages because of different reasons. So why are you living there? Is it because of children? Is it because of you don't have enough finances? So yeah, we want to know from you. That would be very great. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.